Cool. As long as everybody can hear us, let's just jump in because I know everybody's busy. But we're gonna start with we're gonna go ahead and jump into our presentation. If you guys have any questions, you can jump in. And at the end we're gonna have plenty of time for you guys to ask questions. So we're gonna jump right in here and just talking about social media marketing. And one of the things we always say here is, posting is one thing, but marketing is another. So let's go through this here. Let's say which of these, so Bob's a very, very famous author. So if we were talking about the branding of Bob Goff's Love Does, which of these do you guys think would be a brand? A lot of times when we give these presentations, we ask these questions to people, and people always tell us that the one in the middle is the brand, because that's quote unquote the logo. The answer really is that all of these are brand. All these three pictures represent the brand that makes up Bob and that makes up the Love Does book, okay? It's everything from the book to himself, to logos, to t-shirts, to pictures, to all these things. Everything that you're going to put into a book is going to also be a representation of you, which is going to draw back to the brand. So this is really important to know when you're doing social media, because you always want to remember that everything that you're going to post on there, you're going to involve yourself with through social media is going to be a representation of your brand, and it's what people are going to associate with you when they think about you. People ask me a lot, they go, how do you define a brand? And I like to define it pretty simply. You can read a lot of books and you can take seminars on branding. I really think you can sum it up in one sentence. It's what you want people to think about you when they think about you. So you can define yourself by 2 or 3 words maybe that you want people to associate with you when they think about you. And that's pretty much what you want to make your branding filter when you're on social media. So everything that you're going to post should go through that filter to say, well, here's some great content, but does it really fit what my brand is all about? Me as a person, my book, a seminar, anything that has to do with me or my product is a brand. Okay, so you can work on this if you want. You guys can, I would encourage you to take some time and think about that. 2 or 3 words maybe that define you, and your how you want to be positioned, and write them down, keep them next to you when you're posting social media stuff, and use it as a tool. Okay, cool. Now the next thing we're going to talk about here is finding your audience. Finding an audience on social media really is the first thing you want to do. And this goes outside of the realm of people that already know who you are. Okay, those of you guys are out here, you guys are authors and you guys are speakers, and you're famous. And you have your own niches in worlds where people, are all over, and this is great. Those people who are already following you are going to be your ambassadors. These are not people we need to find. These are people that are going to find you. Okay, these are people that are finding your products. They're going to find your seminar. They're going to find your book. And they're going to be drawn to you based on what they see and what they hear and they interact with, okay? But what we have to do in social media, so that's one part of it. The other part of it is finding an audience that we want to interact with, that we want them to interact with us. So what we have to do is ask ourselves pretty much 3 simple questions. Who are the people that we want to interact with? And we need to get very specific when we're doing this. We need to understand, are they specific demographic information? Male, female, what ages are they? Socioeconomics, can they afford my product? Can they go here? Can they be there, right? Those are all the things you ask yourself, because saying that you're going to appeal to all people doesn't work. It never has worked in the marketing world. Everybody has an audience, and you have to find who they are. Social media, especially things like Facebook and Twitter, they know everything about you. Anything anybody's ever put into that computer, even things they're talking about on Messenger, websites they're visiting through Facebook, they know everything about these things. And as marketers and as social media professionals and marketers, we can use that information to find people that are interested in products, okay, or might be interested in you. Second question to ask is, where are they? So this is a little more, so you might be attracting people to sell a book in the United States, but if you're doing a specific event and you're speaking somewhere, you may want to be working, just using the specific geographic region of, Minneapolis within, 25 miles. It could be the same audience, but a different geographic region. And then you want to always ask yourself, what are they interested in? For authors and speakers that maybe are upcoming and maybe don't have a ton of clout in the marketplace, the best way to play this game is to find somebody who's similar to you, who's bigger than you, and attach yourself to them in this audience. Okay. So therefore, if you're selling a book and you're trying to attract moms, okay, and let's say you're having a mommy event and you want a Christian mommy event and you're speaking in Chicago, great. Then let's attract females who are 25 to 45 years old, who have at least one child in the house, who are ages 0 to 16, say, who live within 25 miles of the area where I'm speaking in Chicago, and who like things like K-Love, Beth Moore, add fill in the blank. That's an audience that might be interested in coming to your seminar. And you can get as specific as you want. So this is a great way to start knowing who your audience is. Okay? Great. Now, when we're talking about how much money to spend, because that's the next thing. Great, you found your audience. Now, how much money do I spend on this? Well, I'm going to give you a pretty simple equation here to use. If you put in the parameters of your audience into, we're just going to use Facebook as an example, okay? You can then take the audience size and you can divide it by the cost per impression, which is called a CPM. CPM means for every 1,000 people that I can reach in my audience, how much is that going to cost me? So let's use an example of 100,000 people have the ability to attend my event, okay, in Chicago, that mommy group. It's 100,000 women. Great. Facebook tells us that it's going to cost us $10 to market to 1,000 of them at a time. Fantastic. And we have 3 months to go to the event. So the question we ask ourselves is, what percentage of those people do we want to reach every day, every month, or in this 3-month section? And then we can put the money towards it. And if we spend $100, that means we're going to reach 10,000 people, which is 10% of our audience. So if we do that every week leading up to our event, then we're going to, depending on the scope of how many people we actually want to be there. I like this because what this does is it takes the guesswork out of it. Even if it's something that's not as specific, you're trying to sell tickets, or you're trying to get somebody to go somewhere specific, if you're selling a book, your audience might be 1 million people, okay? That's a big chunk to hit after. You're not going to be able to, most of us don't have the marketing dollars by which to market to 1 million people at a time. But if we break it up into smaller chunks, like a month or a week or even a quarter, and we allocate a certain amount of dollars towards that every time, we might be able to hit 20% of that audience or 50% of that audience over the course of a year, theoretically. And that's a great way from a strategy perspective to be able to go after the audience that you're going after. So now we kind of know like what who our audience is, we kind of know how much money we're spending, and then we also kind of know what our branding filter is and kind of what we want our stuff to look like as it's going out. All right? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about content. And I'm going to hand it over to Sarah. She's going to talk a little bit about content.
All right. So here's Jill's page, who, again, is it's been amazing, all of that. This was, okay, so on April 23rd, I was like, oh my gosh, you need to boost that. People were just loving this. I'm like, okay, so go ahead and boost that. And she did, and ended up with almost 700. Look at that, 700 likes or loves, and then 398 shares. And again, it is still going. And then look at that, almost 60,000 people have been reached. And I'm just going to click the view results really quick. The filter had something funny. She spent $14.82. $14.82 and got that high of a number. I think a lot of people are like, I have to spend $300 and $400 and $500 and this and this. When in reality, if you can get your budget, if you can spend like $10 here and $10 here and $20 something, throughout the month, and you really hone in on that audience and you get a good niche, it'll go like this, but it takes a while to find it, and it takes it, but once you get in that groove, the only thing you have to change, like you said, is the place. So if Jill's gonna be speaking in Peoria, she would set for the same thing, people that like Beth Moore, people and all of that, or Lisa Turkhurst, people that like Mommy Moments or Mops, stuff like that. And then she would set that in Peoria. Well, then if she's going to New York, she'll do the same thing. It's the Lisa Turkhurst, the Beth Moore, the Mommy Moments, and the Mops. Same thing, and then set it in New York, and so on and so forth. So once you find your little niche of everything that it it's less work. Do you know what I mean? So once you find out what it is, then you can kind of run with it a little bit more. So, and I'm just going to give you a little tip right now, so y'all can see the screen. When you do this, instead of spamming everybody and going to the like my page, what you can do is you can click on this right here. Okay. And you will see everybody, okay, out of all 701 people who has liked the page. See right here it says like, so Carissa Yoder has liked this page. And look at all these people you can invite. So you can invite, invite. Now out of all of this, because she had paid that $14, I'm just gonna sit and count, and I'm gonna guess out of all that, there's 200 plus, is my guess, is to see how many people. And now she has the ability, by just inviting all of these people, now we can get 200 more invites just sitting here and doing this. A little tedious, but once you do it, and you can do this for all your Facebook posts as well. Sometimes you'll get it organically and sometimes it'll be paid. But if you can get a good post like this once a week, something like that, maybe even every other week to start out with, this is how you can really grow, getting your likes and getting your audience and getting everything out there. So I'm not going to sit and do all this, but you see what I'm saying? Like, look at all of these that have just never been invited before, and we'll just sit and it says see more, and you click on the see more, and it just keeps going and going. So we can click on that later. But so that is one way to invite people without being that spammy person or go to Facebook jail because you've just invited 200 people and it says you're spamming. Don't do that. I'm gonna go. No, I just want to make sure that there. Okay. And so this is good. So, and I also want to say, like, here is really good because she has this was off of a blog, or not off a blog. So I'm pointing at my screen like you can see, sorry. Right here, Instagram. So she did it both through Instagram and Facebook. So it went both ways. And then you'll see that she has pictures here of just a cute, like, fun picture going on there. Some more, there's her travels. And then here is an event. So here's an event thrown in. That's something different. And here's something off of somebody else's, that she has grabbed somebody else's picture off of somebody else's page that was really relevant to today. And here's a movie that's coming. So it's very much, see this down here? Right here. Look, there's some people that are laying there. Do you catch? Oh, look, Leanne, good job. There you go. Look at that. See, like Jill Savage's photos. See, and that's what you can do. I see you. So then as these things come in, you'll be able to, so she has a very good variety of things, yet people know what she's posting. Zaycon Fresh, that's like once a week that you post that. So it's a very overall fun things. Again, I'm showing you this. The fun things that are there. Now, I'm going to flip over to Lee. This is the lady that I work for, Lee Beanheist. And she actually did she was the guest blogger for Proverbs 31 today. So we've been doing a lot of stuff with that for her Proverbs 31 ministry. So what they did was Proverbs 31 went ahead and posted. So this is the actual Proverbs 31. We grabbed it and we put it on her page. I keep deal with my hand here. Put it right here. The Proverbs 31, and we grabbed it and we shared this post to her page. Now also, because we want to get the promotion, we want to get it out there, Lee has a few groups. She has Everyday Brave and then her book group. I went ahead and I also shared that to those groups and say, hey, go grab that post, go get that post, go give that post some love. And, so then we had people flocking over to that post because we have posted in different areas over here. So it wasn't just the main page. So for a speaker page, it's a little bit different because we want to get more interactions and stuff like that, kind of like as it happens with that. So that is something else you could think about doing, is because pages are pretty much the last thing to be seen on Facebook. And so when you can go into a group and tell your trusted people like, hey, go make this post happen for me. Like, I have something really important. Can you go like this post? Can you go comment on this post? It would be super helpful. Those are your ambassadors that he was talking about. The people that just love what you do, and they're your cheerleaders. So we did all of that good stuff, and here's some more things that we have for her, some events that they're coming up. So we're trying to keep this all different. Another thing that is kind of, if you're like, I don't know what to post, I'm kind of in a rut, you know, I haven't blogged or something, or my blogs, you just don't know, you can like pages, so your page can like a page, okay? So down here, it says your page can like a page. So Lee has liked a lot of pages. I have set her up to like a lot of pages. And there's a cute little button right that says See Pages Feed. This fun little thing. These are all the pages. See this over here that you have liked, that your page has liked this page, okay? So here, and here's the plethora of things. So everything that has been posted up to date, all the way back to goodness knows when, this is a separate news feed for just you. This is your news feed. So if you look at this way, you'll only want to look at stuff from Mops and like Lynn Cowell and James Dobson and Sacred Holiday, like all of these things, Lifeway Women. So you can go and look at this and say you want to do like the Protect Young Eyes. Like, oh my goodness, that is something I really want to do today. That would be great. You can see here, this is Lee right here. You can like it. Okay, so now Lee as a speaker has liked it. She's got her name out there. She's liked it. And then you could go ahead and, I'm not going to physically do it, but you can share to a page. So here's Lee, who's going to share it as Lee. Type a little something, and you post it for the day. It's something different. It's not necessarily you, but it is somebody that you're trying to help, you're trying to do. So if you are partnering with somebody else, this is a great way to do that as well.
Okay, so content is a big deal, right? So we did not work on the movie, I can only imagine, but I'm going to use this as an example to build on what Sarah's point. So let's say that your job is to market the movie, I can only imagine, okay? And so we said, well, what would it look like if you had, let's say you gave a week, and so here's week number 1 and week number 2. So week number 1 would be a graphic, and then a movie poster, and then a graphic, and then a graphic. These graphics are really cool, and they all look really good, and they're nice. Problem is, it's all the same content every single time. All you're doing is giving me the same information in the same way every single time. So while that might be a little interesting to me to know that I want to go see this movie, it's not really a compelling strategy. It's not really a campaign. So down here to number 2, here's where we might work better. Movie poster certainly is a great thing to use. But here's an interview that CBNnews.com did with the director and one of the producers. Well, that'd be something interesting to post on the page. That might be more interesting than just posting another picture. How about a contest? So here's a contest that they came up with and said, hey, here, come see our movie. It comes out March 16th, and enter right now to win 2 tickets to see it. Great. That's a much better way to get people more excited about my event or my movie than that. And then how about an interview with Dennis Quaid, right? So this is all pointing to the same thing. Both of these campaigns do the exact same thing. They get people to go see the movie, yet one is just a little more interesting. The content's more varied, it's more relevant, it's more interesting. And that's what you have to do, whether it's an event, whether it's a book, whether it's just you. Think about the content that you're putting out there and come up with creative ways. Maybe a video, maybe a graphic, maybe a contest. Different things, maybe somebody else talking about your product or doing other things. It's really important because if you do the same kind of content all the time on your page, nobody's really going to ever want to look at it because it's not really very interesting. They're going to be like, well, great, I'm just getting the same old stuff. Okay?
Can I add something to that real quick?
Please.
So, like, there's a lot of people like, oh, well, that's my brand, so that's my color, and that's my thing, or like, this is my background. And so that background is constantly, or you just change the words on it, and then you have a background, and then you just change the words on it, and the back, like, that's kind of like that 1 week post. It's like, okay, like, yeah, they're gonna start recognizing that, but it's just words. It's gonna go in and out, where it has to like come around, make it more interesting, get more something. So if you are wanting to physically brand something, make like even like a logo. So then that logo, like if you look on Proverbs 31, go look on Proverbs 31 right now, since that's all I've been doing for Lee this morning. You'll notice they have a logo at the bottom. All the pictures are different, but their logo is at the bottom. And so instead of trying to have the exact same background with different information, which I think authors do a lot because you have a lot of good stuff to say. I mean, and everything there, but that gets kind of lost in the system as well, where it's like, get a photo and like get your brand, get your name, you know, like you'll see at the bottom of hers, it'll say JillSavage.org at the bottom of like most, if not all of hers, JillSavage.org. You know, so she always puts that somewhere at the bottom. So kind of get used to doing that so they can see that. It's not necessarily the same photo with the different reproduction of just a different there. So think about that.
And the 80-20 rule says that 80% of the people that are going to go onto your Facebook page are not going to read one word on your page. They're just going to scroll through and look at it. Okay? 20% of the people are, which means that if you're doing something, obviously your information needs to be correct, the details need to be right. But think about this, more people are most likely to look at your Facebook page than are to look at your website, okay? So what most people are gonna do when they go to your Facebook page, the 8%, they're just gonna scroll through your page and look at it. And the first thing we talked at the beginning was your brand. So if they're scrolling through your page and they're not reading anything, and all they're seeing is these, like here, in weekly post number 1 here, same image, the same kind of thing, they're like, well, okay, this is just not. Or they scroll through and they see a brand. Right? Jill had pictures of herself that weren't high quality. That's good. Yeah, that's fine. They can all be like that. She had really good content from her family, some stuff with her family, some stuff, her personal stuff, mixing with her business, and then some nice stuff. It was nice. It was relevant. It was very content. So just try to think about that when you're thinking about your brand, right? All right, so I want to jump over to something. This is one of our clients, and it has nothing to do with the world of speakers and authors, but I want to make a point with this. One of the clients that we represent is a golf course architect. And so when you're talking about that audience and the content that you're creating, don't feel overwhelmed that you have to, you know, create this amazing content all the time or nobody's ever going to watch it, okay? This guy that we represent literally makes videos about grass growing. Literally. That's what these videos are about. They're about growing grass. But you'll see on here that they've been seen 1.6 thousand, 1.5 thousand, 2.5 thousand, 2.7 thousand times. Why? Because it's to the right audience. It's for golf course managers, golf course superintendents, and golf course heads of maintenance. Those are the only people we're serving these to. It's on brand, right? It represents him as an expert in his field. When he talks, even if we do it with a cell phone video, which a lot of these are, we do this for him. He's positioning himself. That's his brand. Is I'm an expert at golf course design, growing grass, all these different things that come into play. Okay, so the content needs to be varied, but don't feel like you can't just make a cell phone video if it's on point and your audience is interested in it. If you watched any of these videos, and if you want, you can, you'll be bored to tears in about 10 seconds. The people watch them and they love them and they like them and it's cool. And it's about grass growing because it's on point and it's to the right people. Okay. So one of the things Sarah talked about was using paid to grow organic. Now I'm gonna talk a little bit about the algorithm of Facebook on the next slide, but this is totally how this works. Sometimes if you want to like roll a big ball down a hill, you got to give it a push, and that's kind of what this is. When you have content created and you're paying for it, you know who that audience is, and it's going to the right people, and they're clicking on those posts, just like Sarah showed you with Jill. That's a great way for you. That's how you grow your thing. That's how it grows. You spend money and you go back and you say, hey, you clicked on my post because I found you in my audience, which means you're somewhat interested in what I'm doing. You're not just a random person. You're interested in my content. I put you in a box and I found you and you clicked like. But I haven't invited you to my page yet. Now I'm going to click for you to come to my page. And when you come to my page and now you've liked my page, now the amount of effort, resources, and money it's going to take for me to market to you is going to be way cheaper because you're already following. So you use paid to grow organic. Organic is great. There are some instances where you will not need any money. And it's typically if it's something emotional, political, I don't recommend getting into, but if it is, I mean, you'll see things on Facebook and on YouTube that have millions and millions of views and likes and shares. So yeah, sometimes they do that. They get that for free if it goes viral. But most of the time, even the stuff that goes viral got a push from somebody. Somebody pushed it and showed it to 100,000 people, and that was enough to create a spark. Because if you just post it to your page and kind of leave it there and you don't really have the mass audience that's going to interpret it that way, it typically won't work, even if you have kind of the best, maybe the best post you've ever done, okay? So we're going to talk just a little bit about the Facebook algorithm. So did you know that only a small percentage of people actually see the post when you post on Facebook? It's really somewhere between like 3 and 5%. They change it quite a bit. So literally, if you post something and you go, I have 5,000 people following me on Facebook, and I keep posting this stuff, and nobody's really paying attention to me, nobody really is liking my post. It's not that they're not liking your post, they're not seeing them at all. Only 3 to 5% of the people that are actually following your Facebook page are actually seeing your posts. There's a whole myriad of reasons for that. The main one is Facebook wants to get paid. They want money. There are some other practical reasons I don't really have the time to go into today, but essentially they're saying if you want to show this to all the people on your page, pay us. So sometimes you have to do that. So don't think that, oh, well, I've got 20,000 followers or whatever I've got, and I can just post because 20,000 people are going to see it. That's not necessarily true. Now, here's the caveat, the trick, and I'll use Jill as an example. Jill has really good engagement on all of her stuff. Facebook has the algorithm is positioned to where you may be following 500 businesses, brands, movies, bands, all different. You may be like 500 things. It has nothing to do with your personal side of your Facebook. If Sarah and I are friends, she posts a picture of her kid, I'm going to see it. That's completely separate. But on the business side, if you're following organizations and bands and music and movies and nonprofits and things like that, it's not going to always show up on your page, okay? Because if it did, your page, your feed would probably be so full of stuff you probably never really want to use Facebook anymore because you don't really always want to see it. But let's say I go to Jill's page once a week, and I'm one of her 20,000 followers, and I go to her page once a week because I really like Jill's content. The more I go to her page, Facebook increases that 5% to like puts me on top of the 5%. And if Sarah goes to, and if it goes to Jill's page all the time, the algorithm is set up where if people are engaging with your content, then Facebook says, you want this content. We're going to give it to you. And you're not going to have to pay more for that. Okay, does that make sense? So if you drive people to your page and you create engaging content, you can start to change the algorithm. By which, if you have a whole bunch of people that are always interacting with you, you can grow that number from 5% to whatever percent you want. They have to be engaging with your page enough so that that algorithm will change, and they'll say, well, these people really want this content, and so we're going to give it to them without actually having to pay for it. Okay, great. We're going to touch on just one more thing. So people ask us all the time, oh, they feel overwhelmed again by having to be on all the sites. I don't recommend you have to be on all the social media sites. These are the big ones: Facebook, Google+, Instagram, Indeed, Pinterest, and Twitter. You don't necessarily need to be on all of them. I would recommend, we typically recommend all of our clients that Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram are the ones you really want to be on. Those should be something you should be working towards. But Pinterest isn't always relevant. Indeed is great, not always necessarily relevant. But and the other question I get a lot is, can you post the same thing on Facebook that you can post on Twitter? Are you allowed to use the same graphic and the same text or whatever? And I always say yes, but I was at that there. When you're posting something on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, you can use the same thing, but you have to post it in the way that is acceptable to that media. The way you write a post is not the same way on Facebook as on Twitter as on Instagram. They have their own language, if you will. For example, hashtags, right? Putting that little pound sign to a word. Facebook, you would probably use one at the most, because Facebook's not really a hashtag place. Twitter is somewhat hashtaggy, so you maybe use a few, and Instagram is very heavy hashtag. So when you write the post, you need to take that into consideration. Twitter's only going to give you like 230 characters to use, whereas Facebook can use as many as you want. So if you're just copying and pasting it, or if you're using one of those scheduling tools like TweetDeck or Hootsuite or something, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not knocking those, but I'm just saying that the intentionality behind the post is if you're copying a post from Facebook to Twitter to Instagram, the graphic will probably be okay from Facebook to Twitter, but on Instagram, it has to be a certain size. So it's probably not going to work always. Sometimes it might. And the verbiage certainly needs to be rewritten because it won't look right and it won't read right because it's going from one to the other. So what we do with our clients essentially is we believe in intentionality. So you don't necessarily have to cross-post everything, but if you do, we believe that you should be writing it so that it actually is appropriate for that particular medium. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, that's good. No, because I've even done like copy paste of things like, oh, this is great for Facebook, and so I copied and paste, and then you paste it on Instagram or you do that, and especially when you do like, so you have a paragraph and then you put like a dot 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 and a paragraph and dot dot dot, and you know, to kind of break that up so you don't have to length spaces. If you would take that over to Instagram, that dot 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 may not be exactly where you want it, and it could throw it up here, and it could throw it down here, and it could throw it here, and then space it, and all that, you know, so you're going to be fixing and doing stuff anyway, but then it can look funny because there's just, yeah, so different things. So it just depends what you're going for with that as well.
So we always recommend that whatever you're doing, you kind of follow the strategy of find your audience. That's the first thing you got to do. Second thing, you got to figure out what kind of content you have available and get creative with it. Third thing is put that content through a brand filter so that it always represents your brand. Fourth thing is to figure out how much budget you have and how much you want to spend. And then the fifth thing, we didn't get into too much today, would be to analyze the results. And there's a whole bunch of different ways to do it. And I'm not going to bore you with that today, but having a simple way to analyze, is your campaign working or not, is also a great way to do it. If you follow those steps, you'll achieve some success. It's better than just, like we always say, don't just post, market. And that's a marketing social media strategy that works very well for authors and speakers and things like that in the world. So that's it.
Well, I'm going to go over, because I helped Lee with her book launch, and I know, you know, since you're authors and stuff like that is also something we can help with. I did like, it was, oh, switch, yeah, because your buttons are weird. Okay, awesome. Oh, and my daughter's teacher is, yes, it's snack time at my daughter's preschool. How cute. Awesome. Okay. All right, so just really quick. So what I did for Lee, because we can do book launches and everything. A lot of people, like Lee had Harvest House do part of it, and then she had somebody else contracted, and I came in like halfway during that contract and helped them as well. I'm going to Groot. So what we did was created the Brave Moms, Brave Kids launch team. And what I do is I just help her go through it. I help her do things. I help her make sure that things are being said, because when you have a book and you have so many things going on, this is like the last thing you think about. I mean, it has to happen, but it is so far out of your mind that you almost need somebody to be like, okay, all right, keep me on track. Let's keep me on track. So we have all kinds of different things that we're going to get to. I'm going to have to do a little bit here. So like, here's a movie that I had a little thing to promote her store. So here's that one on her page as well, but I copied and pasted it and said, hey, go grab this. Go grab some stuff from the store, like the Raising Hero shirt and stuff like that. And so, but I'm trying to get back to the beginning of this. So what we can also do is when you start your launch, if you have a book and you want to do a launch, you want to be excited with your launch team. I actually said I helped, and I would put book reviews. Okay, all right, sorry, I know I'm scrolling. I should have pre-scrolled all this. This was when everybody was putting their book reviews in and getting super excited. So here's this, I was like, go grab that one, here's where she had her party, and they did a live so everybody could see her party. She was having people post and launch party stuff, and we were just having a good old fun time. And it is coming here real quick. So it was #1 on Amazon, which was amazing. I just wanted to show you what I did. I should have saved this under my save because that would have been so much quicker. But what we did is like I would copy and paste, like go here. And she did Amazon, she did giveaway. She did another fun thing there. It's almost there. I know it's almost there. So there's all kinds of different stuff, and people were posting all of these things, and we started her launch like a month before her book came out. That way we could all get it pre-read, we could all do all this, get it all started, so it was like go. Okay, so here's all her freebie stuff, there's the blog tour, everything. We had bloggers on here. Here's your blog post. Everybody was posting their blog stuff, like go get my blog, go get my blog, go get my blog. It was really awesome. And more things, yes, it was almost, but not really. People were posting and people were making their own graphics for her. Like, look at this woman who she just like, oh my gosh, so we used this post and we were like, look at what this woman did. Look at how many tabs that is. So we took that, because Facebook didn't recognize these words, and we took that and we made a post out of that. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is just amazing. So we just get things from other people and places. I know. You're going, there's an easier way to do this. So like this is the book launch team. So there's constantly stuff going. And she posts every week of what she's doing and what are you going to download and have this one next. I know I'm going there's our resources. Here's a growth platform. Here's this. Here's some fun stuff here. I know. See, I know it's almost here. People were posting back and forth. It was a way to get people interested so that once they go, they just all shove over. And I want to say with it, once we started this team and all of this, I started out her page and it was 378 likes was what it is. And now she's up to 1,300 right now. And I started with her I really started with her in November, right before her book launch. And so we have really grown her page quite a bit. Yeah, I'm never going to get to what I need. But so when you want to have people, like these are all the people that are on Lee's side. These are like her people. These are the people that love her and they are just out of the range. And so whenever we want to read this book launch, like even today, I went back to the book launch people and I was like, go give love to the Proverbs 31. Go give love to the Proverbs 31 stuff. With everything. Share your question time. So again, if you ever have any launch team issues, there's like, I know like Harvest House said that they could do it for her or they could do something else. So like here's right here, we've changed some group settings so they know that we are going to be a private group. Here's all of her fun stuff. Here was her swag. And so like right here, who has their swag? People bought stuff and said, okay, go post a picture, use this hashtag, tag her everything, tag, and I show you exactly what to tag. I show you exactly what to do. I show you exactly the website to go to. So right here, quick change, 16 graphics. So right here, it says 16 graphics. Go get that, go grab that, because then that's over in a different platform over there for everything. And then when we want to do the Amazon book reviews, I said, go to this post and go actually right here. And, right here. So 24 hours, she has all these friends. So I made them be friends within each other. And I said, go find each other as friends so you can like it. Every time you see something, go like it. So these people that are in this group, almost all of them are friends because I said, go be friends with each other so that when you see her pop up on your screen, go every time you hear Brave Mom, Brave Kids, like it, and then it just bumps up to everybody's page, and then everybody sees your likes, and then other people like it, and other people like it, and then it bumps it back up. So these friends are now friends here. And right here, here's an easy way to like the post. I show people how to like posts, how to do things. And right here, let's be social. Like here's all of, I would say, hey, here's all of Lee's stuff. Here's her Facebook, here's her Twitter, here's her Instagram, here's her Pinterest. And so people know where to get this and they can do this. So it's basically just giving all this information. And it is a lot because you as an author and a speaker, you're already doing so much. You're writing the book, you're doing all this, and you're probably doing interviews, you're going to speaking events, and you're on planes and trains and all this stuff. You're just so much everywhere that this is usually the last thing you think about. But technically, it should be the first thing you think about because this is where everybody's at, and if they don't know, they're not going to see it. You know, so that's one of those things where we can actually help you with your book launch or a blog launch or something of that nature as well, or an event or speaking and all of this stuff, and keep all your ducks in a row. Because it's really hard to keep your ducks in a row. Jill keeps her ducks in a row, and she's very good at keeping her ducks in a row. She's got some good stuff, and her ducks are in a row. She may not tell you they're in a row, but they're in a row.
Yeah, so like, you know, essentially what you want to do is you really want to be consistent with everything. You don't want to stop doing it. It's not something that you start and you stop. It's something you just do. So our team really does pretty much what our clients need, which is the daily management, the analytics, the posting, the boosting, finding the audience, creating the content, doing the graphic design, doing the copywriting. We have videographers, and we're kind of a full service group. But everybody's different. Everybody has different needs. Everything has, there's no cookie cutter approach to this, but regardless if you have us helping you or you're doing it, I would highly encourage you to follow kind of the strategy things that we talked about today and be consistent. Don't stop, because you gotta make that algorithm work for you. And if you keep doing it, eventually, I mean, Jill's stuff is, when Jill has something to say now, it wasn't always that way, but now when she has something to say on social media, she's got people listening every single time. And it's not that hard for her to get a message out there because she's got so many people that are her ambassadors.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
And you guys can all do the same thing. Everybody can. So.
Yeah.
Are we good?
I think we're good. Does anybody have any questions? If you want to type it in, or
Tim or Sam or. Sign language, ma'am.
I hear type. I kind of hear.
Any tips for Twitter? Well, Twitter is, yeah, I mean, there are some tips. I would say Twitter is interesting. I think Twitter is one of the most underrated ad platforms to spend money on. I love advertising on Twitter. It's a little different. I have to kind of segue off and kind of explain how that works. One of the great things about Twitter is that you're going to find that businesses, organizations, and groups they're a lot more involved in Twitter than you probably think they are. Twitter is kind of like, if you think of Twitter as kind of like a mini blog of your business life or your personal life. And so Twitter, you can kind of get away with posting on Facebook, once a day, maybe 5 times a week, 4 times a week, maybe a little less is fine, a little more. Twitter, I mean, you can post like 2-3 times a day, and you can be interacting and talking to people so much more than you would be as a business on Twitter than you would be on Facebook, where it's a little more of a personal thing. So, but I would say, yeah, Twitter is a great place to be. You have to understand kind of how to write Twitter language, tag people, use the advertising platform, but it's definitely worth it. It takes time. And the best way to get people to follow you on Twitter is to follow them. A little different on Facebook. If you're a business, like Sarah showed you, if you follow people, you can repost their content. On Twitter, if you don't follow anybody, nobody will ever follow you. So you have to start following. So I would say if you're going to start doing it, follow a certain amount of people every day, maybe like 5 to 10 a day in your world, things that are related to you, and just see that it will start to grow. One suggestion, on PlayStation, ask a question, people. Oh, sure. So the comment is here about engagement. Yeah, I mean, running a contest, asking questions, prompting people, oh my gosh, is definitely the way to go. I mean, prompting contests are fantastic. Anything related to getting people involved with something and asking them, you just have to make sure that it has to be a part of your arsenal of content. If you do it all the time, it won't work. You have to do it at the right time of day, right people, but definitely engagement like that works. What's one thing you wish you could go back and do over again? You mean in terms of life? No.
No, those are questions.
Yeah. I don't know. What's one thing I wish I wouldn't say anything. I'll tell you why. Because the reason I'll tell you, I've been doing social media marketing when it first launched. I was working for a restaurant company in Chicago. I remember Twitter had literally just come online. And I went into an office with all these people, big restaurant, one of the biggest in the United States. And I went into this office with people and I said, hey guys, Twitter just came out. I know this Facebook thing is rolling. I think we should get on it. I think we should be on this. And we went around the room and they went, no, 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 no. They all said no. But we did it anyway, eventually. So I would say I don't really think there's anything I can go back and do over again because I've been doing this we've been doing this for so long. I've made so many mistakes, learned the ins and outs, and that even if anywhere along my career I've made a mistake at this, it's made me better at it. I've had spent the time, Sarah, too, in doing that. So, what are you reading, Sarah? What's on your reading list for right now?
My reading list right now. You're all gonna laugh. Arlene Pelican, because I'm in her book launch team. I am reading her book, Karen's Rising.
That's a good one.
So I am. I'm starting to do that, and I've done a couple of her things. So like I finished the Brave Moms Brave Kids, because it's her, and I was accepted on Arlene's team. So that was so exciting. So I'm in the depth of reading that. And I am reading Mere Christianity right now with a group of women, and it is like way up here. So I've got a way high book and a book that's like, yeah, let's be an intentional parent. And yeah, so I've got a little bit of both. So that's what I'm actually reading right now.
I have a 5-year-old, so I'm reading a lot of Curious George books.
Yes.
And yes, Facebook Live videos are great. There's a whole other thing to videos are where it's at. Part of your content arsenal. Live videos, there's a whole thing with that. There's just a tip on Facebook Live videos. The quality is typically not great. It's okay, depending on how you kind of position it. But there is a way you can actually do Facebook videos live in full high definition with broadcast audio, which basically is like, it's basically, there's devices you can use, basically having like a television studio like in your backpack, and you can show up anywhere and you can basically broadcast multiple camera angles and broadcast audio. So the evolution of live video is going to get to the point where in a few years it'll probably all be like that. Right now you have to kind of have, there's some stuff you have to get, but I mean, anticipate in the next 5 years from now, live YouTube, live Instagram, live Twitter, live Facebook, it's going to be like watching NBC nightly news. It's going to be amazing. So that is definitely coming. Don't be shy with that either. So.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people are like, okay, I have to make sure I have all my words and have my script in front of me and this and this, where actually the best part is just like, you be you. Just get on and be like, this is me, and if you flub up and you're like, oh, whatever, and it just brings everybody back to be like, oh, they're human. Exactly what I'm going, it's fine, and that's what gets the engagement. It's not the perfect, like, I'm going to sit up and do a speech, and it's the like interaction like this, back and forth. We're like really chill. Like, I even thought for a second, like, should I like a really nice, no, forget it. I'm just going to wear a t-shirt and I'm in yoga pants. Now that you can tell, I'm in yoga pants.
I dressed up. This is the nicest thing I know.
Yeah, so, don't just like get on and just let people see you and the real you and get on there, because that's going to get a lot of interaction, a lot of engagement, because people want to see you. If you guys are writing books, yeah, your books are great and it's great advice, but they want to see what's behind that book. Who are you? What's going on with you? And so don't be shy about doing those Facebook Lives at all, because that will get attention. Just like, don't make them like 5-10 minutes. Keep it to what? Like a minute, minute and a half, major. People lose interest, after 2 minutes? That one? Typically, they're like, 2 minutes, and we're done. So if you keep it like a minute and a half, like.
I mean, think back to that first slide I showed you with Bob Goff, right? Like, picture of Bob and the two, like, they're all effective, but you've probably all seen Bob speak, and yeah, he should do a lot of live video because it's very engaging and people are drawn to that. Sure, they're going to like the book and the design is great, it looks great, and that's going to work too, but that brand, you are the brand. if you're an author or a speaker, you are the brand, and be the brand.
Yeah.
You know, be it.
And yes, go do a Facebook Live video. Yeah, Leanne, yes,
Yeah.
do it. We're gonna follow it. We're gonna watch it.
Yeah.
So put it on and see what we got.
What else? Any other questions? I mean, we can hang out. I mean, it's 2:00. And obviously, I mean, it goes without saying, if this is something you need a little more help with, let us know. Shoot us an email, shoot me an email, or let us know right now if there's something you want help with, we can help you. You know, if it's just talking to you a little bit about, you know, ways you can improve, or you need some help, people managing this for you, you know, whatever you need, we're here to do that. So.